Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Witches in the Moon. I am a Thursday Hurst. Yeah. I am a Thursday host, Dia, aka Ori of OrioOasis.com, and this week we are talking about students and teachers and the craft. This, first of all, is a great topic for me and it's divine timing because I have a class coming up. Yep. Witchy 101, which is a class for beginners or people who just want to learn how to do their witchcraft on a budget. It is a 6-week course. It has you get to learn a bunch of stuff in different areas, and you also get access to my online spell book, which is ever growing. Once you finish the class, you get access to that. So look at the link below. Check that out. I'm going to look in the description box below and I'll put the link to that so you can check that out. Now, as far as teaching and students in the craft, there's so many ways to take the topic, so I'll try to touch on briefly on different areas. Okay, so the first area is the area of the student, right? When you're looking for a teacher in the craft, first of all, it's almost like looking for a reader as well, where you need to know the person's morals because you don't want to be taught something you don't want to learn, or you don't want to you don't want to take a class and then you're questioning this person's morals because it's different from yours. Everybody has their own morals, so make sure you know the morals of the person that you're learning from, and make sure your morals line up with theirs, so there's no button of energies in that particular area. Second, feel free to ask them. Ask them how long they've been in the craft. Ask them how long they've been in the craft. Also ask them how long they've been teaching. You know, and then if you can ask them if you can talk to some of their students, if they're students. Now keep in mind, not everybody's going to have students that's wanting to talk to other students, because there are a lot of people who like to learn in private, do their practice in private, and they don't want anybody to know that they are practicing. Luckily I have a few students who are willing to be public, and I have a majority of my students who don't want nobody to know. I mean, nobody to know. However, see if it's possible that you could talk to one of their students and ask them how they really feel about the class. Also, make sure you have an understanding what the class teaches. There are sometimes you take a class and you go in with one idea of how you think the class is going to be, and you get there and the class is a whole other different thing, right? And sometimes you're a little bit upset because you didn't get to learn what you want to learn. So, excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. What was I saying? I got distracted by my child. What was I saying? Oh, about making sure you understand exactly what the class is going to teach. And if you do not understand, feel free to email that person and ask questions. Now, if that person doesn't answer you back, maybe that's not the class for you, or maybe they're just too busy. But feel free. Don't feel like you ever cannot ask a question. Okay. Now, also with that, while you're in class, one of the things that I have learned with classes that many people will sit there and they'll go, and they really don't understand. If you're paying for the class, you do not understand, keep asking until you get clarity. Ask them to explain it to you in a different way. Ask them, don't just sit there and go. I'm one of the people who will keep asking you, do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay, if you understand, tell me in your own words so that I know you understand. However, not every teacher is like that. Some teachers teach like more like I want to say more like on like a college level class, where if they expect their students to say something they don't know, not just to not sit there and just go keep asking everybody to make sure they understand. So with that, make sure you're asking questions if you do not understand. Please excuse my dog. I have a neighbor that's getting new furniture, and these dogs have been barking all day at the neighbors, not actually the neighbors, the people that are bringing the furniture in and out. Yeah. Okay. Kaba, where are you? I have a feeling he's about to go back to the door and start barking again. Okay. I'm sorry. One of those days. Okay, so, yeah, definitely ask questions. You're paying for this class. Even if it's a free class, you're still taking the time to take the free class, so make sure you ask questions. If the class is not a live class, because some classes are not live classes, Make sure that you have a way of contacting the teacher to ask questions. So don't just go down on the class all willy nilly and expecting it to be put together in a way that you will fully get it, because everybody learns differently. Everybody has a different learning style. So make sure that you're not just downloading a class and you have no access to the person who put it together for you to ask, at least ask a question. So make sure there's a way to contact whoever put the class together, or somebody or something that's taking the class, somebody, some way that was involved in the making of the class to ask questions. Now, on the teacher side, for those who would like to start teaching classes, again, people learn differently, right? So knowing that everybody learns differently in different ways, if you're going to teach a class, you kind of have to correspond to each way people learn. So one, you want written, and you also want visual as well, and you also want auditory. So you want to be able to speak, you want them to be able to see, and you also want something written. And with combining those three, all the different ways people learn normally comes together, and they can find their niche within that class. Also, keep in mind that because of the different learning styles, you have to be very patient, because some people are going to ask 1,001 questions, while others will sit there and just take notes, and you're wondering, are they even paying attention? I'm one of the ones that'll sit there and take notes, and you'll probably wonder if you're paying attention, if I'm paying attention or not, until I don't understand, and then I'm like, excuse me, I would have that usher finger, that I will do that in a minute. So keep in mind all these different styles. Also, keep in mind that people, if as a teacher perspective, you have to have some level of I call it distance empathy, because some people, you have to empathize as you get to know these students. You also end up becoming their counselor in a certain way, so you get to interact, you become closer, but also you have to find that bridge, find that level that you can maintain between teacher, student, and also counselor, and also growing into becoming that person's friend. It's a finicky, fickle balance to maintain, but once you get used to it, you can. Also, set your prices and stick to it. When you become a teacher, you're putting your experience into this. You are putting your time into teaching this. You are putting in your time that you put together to put this class together, and you're doing it so that everybody else who wants to take your class doesn't have to go through what you went through and trying to get all this information together. You put it together for them, so all they got to do is come to you. So set your prices and also stick to it. Respect what you have put into your craft. And be honest. If this is your first time teaching the class, be honest with them. This is my first time teaching the class. Please give me feedback. Let me know what can be better, what to change, what you like, this and that. However, in doing that, you also have to pay attention to what the student came there to learn. Because if they have expectations to come to learn something, and that expectation wasn't communicated and it didn't happen, then of course you're going to get, maybe not so good feedback. But talk to them, be open, put prices that are respectable for you, that you feel as though is a good price for you for what you have learned. Make yourself accessible. Do not be so distant that you also have to find a balance. Now, there's another tricky thing as far as teaching classes. You have to find a balance where you're accessible to your students, but also have your private time as well. I thought my son was talking to me. But also have your private time as well, because and that's another thing for students. Please keep in mind that even though they're teaching a craft, they also have a life. Okay? So, please try to be mindful of their private times. As far as teachers, you should set hours explicitly, because I have no idea if I said the other word right, explicitly for communicating and questions and emails, and just time to interact with students outside the classroom to make sure everybody get it. But also have a little wiggle room in case somebody just pops up with a question. Just have a little bit of wiggle room, so you can interact with that. Okay, so I think I touched on teaching and touched on students. Is there anything else that I want to say? Because I ain't done a 10-minute video in a long time. Okay. Basically, the only thing I can say is make sure there's good communication before the class starts. During the class, if you are unsure about anything, ask questions. teacher nor student, do not assume. That's the biggest thing. Do not assume. One thing, yes. If you're going to teach a class, do not put down your students because they do not get it. Do not put that. And you, as a teacher, it is your job and your charge to find a way for that student to understand because you chose to teach. So do not ever put down a student because they don't understand. Find out what it is that they like, find out what it is what they're into, and try to relay the information within that frame of reference for them to get it. Okay? That's one thing, that I really want to stress that, because that annoys me when I see teachers talking about their students on open forums and things like that, and talking about people in general. Don't get me wrong, I have my jokes. Y'all know I'm pretty much an asshole, so I have my jokes. But as far as like in a classroom setting like that, that's not fun and games, because again, everybody learns differently. And one learning style is not better than the other. And when you chose to be a teacher, you chose to take on teaching in all these different learning styles. So that's not easy. So that's again why I say make sure you stick to your prices, because it's not easy. And once you decide to teach, you become teacher, you become friend, you become counselor. You also become the tutor, because some people will need tutors. You become all that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. From the student perspective, again, the only thing I can really say from the student perspective is don't be too scared to speak up and ask questions if you do not understand. Also, practice, 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 practice. Just like with anything else, you get better as you practice at it. And I believe that's it. So thank you for watching, and see you next week.